Here are the most important current events in the United States today, Friday, July 18, 2025. Newspaper, political and economic news. Trump signs new environmental exemptions. U.S. President Donald Trump signed a series of proclamations exempting certain industrial facilities and coal plants from pollution laws, allowing them to release more toxic substances into the air. This move has drawn criticism from environmental and health organizations. Congress approves spending cuts. Members of the U.S. Congress voted on a bill to cut federal spending by $9.4 billion, which will be sent to President Trump for his signature. Globe International Events. John Lewis Anniversary Protests. Demonstrations are being held across the U.S. under the slogan, "Good Trouble Lives On," to commemorate the late civil rights activist John Lewis, who died on this day in 2020. Classical Building local events. Arizona fires. The Dragon Bravo fire continues near the northern rim of the Grand Canyon, destroying more than 80 structures, including a historic lodge. Texas shootings. A shooting occurred at a Border Patrol station in McAllen, Texas, leaving one officer injured. TV entertainment. SmackDown. Tonight, SmackDown will air tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on USA. Newspaper. More details in political and economic news. Political tensions over environmental policy, after President Trump signed new exemptions for industrial facilities. His administration faces widespread criticism from the Democratic Party and environmental organizations, who warn that these steps will increase air pollution and negatively impact public health, especially in urban and industrial areas. Spending cuts bill. A $9.4 billion cut in the federal budget aims to reduce the fiscal deficit. But some lawmakers criticize it as potentially impacting social programs such as healthcare and education. Globe additional details in international events. Protests and the anniversary of John Lewis. John Lewis was a prominent figure in the American civil rights movement, and this year's protests focus on issues of social justice and the fight against racism, especially after the escalation of violence against minorities in recent months. U.S. military and foreign missions. The United States continues to support some military operations in the Middle East, while intensifying efforts to combat terrorist groups such as ISIS, in addition to monitoring the movements of Russia and China on the international scene. Fire, local and security events. Wildfires in the American West. Firefighters in Arizona and New Mexico continue to battle wildfires that have forced the evacuation of thousands of residents from affected areas. Authorities are considering imposing traffic restrictions in areas near the fires. Texas shooting incident. Local police have opened a comprehensive investigation to determine the motive for the incident and road safety, with increased security presence in border areas to prevent recurrence. Face mask entertainment and culture. WWE SmackDown returns. One of the most watched wrestling shows. Tonight's show will feature matches between top wrestlers such as Roman Reigns and Dwayne Johnson, promising to attract millions of viewers. Music festivals. New Orleans is hosting the Jazz Fest, a music festival bringing together some of the most popular artists and featuring live performances that attract large audiences from across the United States. Bar graph economy and markets. Stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average maintains its steady gains amid optimistic expectations following the release of major corporate earnings reports this week. Jobs. A slight increase in job creation was reported in July, boosting economic growth indicators. Rolled-up newspaper politics and governance Epstein case developments. President Trump has tasked Attorney General Pam Bondi with seeking the release of top-secret testimony in the Jeffrey Epstein case, following a Wall Street Journal report accusing him of contributing a lewd drawing to Epstein's album. Trump denies the allegation and has threatened to sue. The move increased pressure on House Republicans and prompted some of his supporters to burn MAGA hats in protest. ICE access to Medicaid data. The Trump administration agreed to grant ICE access to sensitive Medicaid data, raising concerns among civil rights groups about privacy risks for minority groups. Spending budgets unleashed scandals. Congress passed $9 billion in federal spending cuts, including cuts to media and foreign education funding, and sent the packages to the president for his signature. Downward trend. Economy and finance. The Federal Reserve may cut interest rates in July. Fed Governor Christopher Waller called for a 0.25% interest rate cut by the end of July in response to slowing economic growth and labor market concerns, amid divergent views among officials. Markets continue to rise. The Dow Jones and S&P 500 hit record highs after strong earnings reports from companies such as TSMC, PepsiCo, and United, while Lucid stock surged, supported by an expected partnership with Uber. Globe domestic and social events ***, Good Trouble lives on, demonstrations ***, tens of thousands of people took to the streets across all 50 states and Puerto Rico to commemorate civil rights activist John Lewis, amid calls for greater justice and minority empowerment. Telescope science and culture. Perseid meteor shower begins. The Perseid meteor season has begun, with peak viewing in North America from July 18 to 28, especially between 2 and 4 a.m., before the full moon. Clipboard quick summary space. What's happening today? Politics. Epstein case and legal protests continue. Economics. Pressure to lower interest rates and stocks rise. Society. Civil rights protests across the country. Culture. Science. Meteor phenomenon in the sky to be detected. Bank economy and monetary policy. Fed member calls for 0.25% rate cut in July. Christopher Waller believes the pace of economic growth and the slowing labor market warrant a rate cut before the end of July, noting that the impact of trade tariffs is temporary and will not lead to permanent inflation pressure. Wall Street at historic highs, burned by strong earnings, such as those from PepsiCo and United Airlines, and positive economic data, despite concerns about tensions between Trump and Powell. Markets anticipate a September rate cut. Milky Way science and space ***, Perseid meteor shower peak ***. The shower is currently active until August 23rd. The best viewing time is July 18 to 28 during the pre-dawn hours, with up to 100 meteors per hour possible. The main peak of the event is expected on the night of August 12 to 13. But a full moon could hinder viewing. Global events with internal impact. No significant new events are covered in current sources. Bar graph. What we can conclude. There is clear pressure for an interest rate cut soon if the economic slowdown continues. The stock market is strong despite political concerns. The Perseid meteor shower is a great opportunity for astronomy enthusiasts during the pre-dawn hours.